Hold, varlet! Don't you dare attach that foot to my ankle.
This is Cadwell's longest episode yet. Perhaps I can...
That's it! Time to give you knaves what for.
These are visions. Dismembered bodies. I hate necromancy. Cadwell trusts you, Five Claw. You talk to him.
Who's there? Speak up! I'm about to teach these rapscallions a valuable lesson. And yes, I plan to make it hurt. Ah, jolly good. I could use a noble squire for the battle ahead. To battle ahead? Anyway, Zumok Fu has gathered the dismembered parts of the betrayer's body. I can't allow the necromancer to put me, back together. I'm not entirely certain. It's definitely a dark, menacing cavern. Just the sort of place necromancers enjoy hanging around. Oh! Here now! Stop that! Your pardon, noble squire, but I have to go kick myself in the head. I'm off to put a stop to these dastardly villains.
Tarn, can you determine where Cadwell disappeared to?
Of all the foolish, idiotic, misguided things that Cadwell has ever done, this may be the worst of them all. He fancies himself a hero, but he's given Zumog Foom exactly what he needed. I'm no expert on necromancy, but it's obvious that our Cadwell is the last piece Zumog Foom needs to restore the betrayer. He has all the parts of Cadwell's dismembered body, and now Cadwell has handed him the final component, his very essence. Does a soul shriven have a soul? I have no idea how the philosophy of oblivion accounts for such things, but there must be some kernel of the original Cadwell inside the one we know. It stands to reason the necromancer would need that as well. I managed to scry Cadwell's portal before it winked out. It connected to an ancient crypt in the scar not far from the Stitches. Head there immediately. The rest of us will make preparations and join you as soon as we can.
Greetings, Walker. Have you come seeking work? There is much to do here in Elsweyr. All manner of work, Rook. Nisuzi offers tasks that you can tackle alone. Rahir gathers groups of warriors to face great beasts and savage warriors, and Battle Reef Tanardina conscripts heroes for the most dangerous task of all. Well, that depends. Who do you want to know more about? Rahir, Nisuzi, or Battle Reef Tanner? Nisuzi is a Bandari, and the Bandari always needs something. The work you do for her will likely take you to the caves, mines, and sunken ruins of Elsweyr. Dangerous work, but not so dangerous that you couldn't accomplish it on your own. Yes, Walker. Rahir speaks for Rimmons elders and clan mothers, and they expect a great deal from us. Some threats are too great to face alone. Massive beasts, cruel necromancers, all kinds of horrors. But if you succeed, old Rahir pays well. Well, everyone wants people to kill dragons. They're a nuisance. But Battle Reef Tannerlina actually pays heroes to do it. Fair warning, though. No one can face those beasts alone. Seek out other warriors before you attack. Excellent! Please, speak to my associates and they'll help you get started. Don't forget to check back regularly, Walker. That retainer won't fill your belly for long.
A 100 apologies, Walker, but this show is postponed for now. If you purchased a ticket, this one will gladly refund your gold. Forgive Tahara. Her worry gets the better of her. One of my menagerie's most terrifying beasts escaped from its cage. I turned my back for only a moment to speak to an onlooker, you see, and pow! The monster burst free! Oh, a vicious beast with ravening jaws and beady black eyes. The Brett and Tahara bought it from called the creature Bertel. But do not let the silly name fool you. You seem capable. If you find Bertel, I will gladly share some of my profits with you. This one is humbled by your generosity, Walker. She will see you fully compensated for the danger. Of course, Tahara will answer what she can. I warn you, though, you may learn more than you'd like. Tales of Bertel can rattle your... Yes, of course. It stalks on 4 clawed feet, standing as high at the shoulder as Tahara is at her waist. Its fur is blood-burnished gold, and its floppy ears dangle like curtains at the cheek, framing a muzzle filled with yellow teeth. Yes! Oh, Walker, you will never meet a more fearsome creature. To think the noble wolf bred into such a compact frame of death and horror. In the Khajiiti tongue, Ta'agra, the word for dog, means death. Can you believe that? Well, no. Dog just means dog. But still, you know what Tahara is telling you.
Taznazi does not know you. That's good. She knows everyone in the Stitches. Those who aren't in Kazda's pocket, she can count on one paw. This one has a job for someone who'd rather pick it. An unknown face like yours is just what she needs. Kazda, the dung-eater that runs the Stitches, has a hoard of gold beneath Merville Keep. Taznazi plans to make it hers. Ours. If you're interested, we need to move soon. The Stitches gets worse by the day. To take from Kazda is no crime. His predecessor, Dashing the Salzo, amassed the coin. Kazda only wallows in it, like a pig in its filth. A cruel, stupid pig. Now he lets the Stitches shuffle to ruin. This is his just punishment. We also need Taznazi's old crew, Vol, Sarin, and Nazdar. Vol just did a job for Jubani. He'll be at her junk shop. Serin's likely at the Goiter's Gulp, and Nazdar caterwauling somewhere. We'll meet in the bowl at the bottom. Who do you want to know about? Best damn mechanist this side of Nibbin Bay. Not a common trait for a wood elf, this one knows, but it is true. Kazda's stronghold uses strange mechanisms to keep uninvited visitors out. Voles are passed through them. Maybe not the most distinguished mage in Elsweyr, but the best Taznazi is likely to get in the Stitches. She spends more time with her head in a bottle than a book, but once she's dried out, she'll be invaluable for reaching the vaults unnoticed. The old adept was something back in his day. Taznazi heard he could break a boulder with his little claw. He doesn't fight much anymore, but he still has some moves. This one has seen them personally. He flows like water and is as silent as wind. Keep it quick. There's a lot to be done before we relieve Kazda of his riches. The lowest. Kazda clawed his way to the top of the Stitches with treachery and fear. The Stitches hasn't known law, but under Dashing the Salzo, it knew relative peace, common purpose. Now it falls into anarchy. Kazda won't stop it, he creates it. The leader of the Stitches, before Kazda. He's dead and gone. All you need to know is, what was his is now Kazda's, soon to be ours. A den of outlaws in the shape of a town. There's not much to tell. What do you want to know? The facade of a legitimate business for Jubani the Fence. Her gang loots and scavenges items all over the Scar. She has a Bandari's knack for selling junk for far more than it's worth. What passes for a tavern in the Stitches. The Averno twins run a money-lending and pawn operation out of it. Don't let them sweet-talk you into any favors. They may seem harmless, but everything has a price with those two. The sewer beneath Merville Keep. We'll be able to gather there without attracting any unwanted attention, and it'll become clear why once you arrive. Thoroughness is an uncommon virtue in the Stitches. Go on and ask.
You took your time. Let's talk. Travel never used to take this much out of me. Oh well. Now that you're here, we can begin our investigation. The Adept and the Prefect volunteered to scout ahead. They haven't returned. That means it's up to us. We must stop Zumog Foom from reanimating Cadwell. Something has prevented them from returning. I can only assume the necromancers or their undead have done them in. Where they were forestalled, we must prevail. Otherwise, Zumog Foom and the dragons get one step closer. Don't be a fool. Our first priority is to stop Zumog Foom and keep him from aiding the dragons. After that, we can worry about everything else. Cadwell, what happened to you?
Fun little spot. They ripped it out of me. I'm afraid I bungled this one royally, old friend. I opened a portal, meant to put the villainous Zumog Foom to the sword. He got the better of me. The necromancer stole my essence, flung it to assorted ritual sites throughout the lair. Now I'm weak in my old body is the big cat and the Imperial. They arrived shortly after I did, but they didn't fare much better. I'm not sure what Zumog Foom did with them. I've just been standing here trying to recover enough strength to give it another go. Charge me up again? Capital idea, and I agree. We can't let the betrayer join the dragons. That reminds me of a time. No. Can't think. Too weak. I'll stand with you as long as I can.
I'll delay Zumog Foom's ritual as long as I can. You take Cadwell and see.
You left us to die, Kalo.
Our blood is on your hands.
No! I won't allow you to interfere with the ritual! Less from your bones! What's holding this ritual together?
Refreshing. Let's find the rest of it and put it back where it belongs.
You were never strong enough, Zamorak. I died because you were weak.
Praying to the moon won't save your cat.
Interloper. Just more fuel for the ritual.
Zamorak failed. Again.
Ah, welcome back, little energy. I missed you so.
You're a senile old fool, half-brother. How could you be so reckless? The dragons are your fault!
Your presence will destroy the afterthought.
Get rid of that damn cloud!
Oh, that hits the spot. Did you know I used to be a high shot? No, wait. No, that bit belongs to Abner.
Five Claw. This one doesn't have much time. Nalado should not be here. This one should be prowling the sand behind the stars and preparing for the next pounce, not lingering in this fetid tomb. Zumog Fum called Nalado back. He planned to use her in a foul ritual, but dead or no, Naladol is still a soldier. His follower never stood a chance. This one sensed something. Decided to wait here a little longer. Naladol thought the cloud of energy reminded her of the strange knight adorned in cookware. This one thinks she absorbed the energy when she killed the necromancer and disrupted this part of the ritual. Return it, perhaps, though that will certainly shred the spirit form. No matter, Naladol no longer belongs in this realm. Tell Queen Carmira and Garashvi that Naladol says farewell. Now, prepare yourself, stranger.
Stop me. Neither you nor that bumbling corpse stand a chance.
Yes, I never. I'll have you know, I barely one quarter.
Your life is mine, outsider. Rise. Two of you can't exist in the same reality, soul stripping. The stronger the betrayer becomes, the weaker you will grow. Let the essence of death flow free!
I'm fading away. Oh, jolly good show. Of course I planned to deal with the orc myself once my reanimation was complete. Now that I'm whole, I have a destiny to fulfill. So, cheerio. I always heard that introspection could be difficult, but meeting yourself. No one likes to discover that they were a tallow catch. Try not to hold it against me. Him and me were two sides of a dented coin. I don't think the world can handle more than one Cadwell at a time. My essence, I feel it draining away. Strange as the end approaches, so does clarity. You will try to stop him for me. Finish what I started a long, long time ago. I remember how we stopped the dragons. Kunzari and I, we tricked Count Gronti, used his own ambition against him, convinced him to place a portion of his power in Jode's core. Count Gronti ordered his brothers to follow suit. Once weakened, we were able to trap them in the halls of Colossus. Then the betrayer, then I killed Kunzari. I earned that name. I planned to steal the power, but Anequina's adepts, I'm still here. Chimera, she looks like Anequina. So pretty. Anequina possessed a key to a special place. That's where I learned to use portal. Luckily, they cut off my head and dismembered me before I could reach Jode's core. I guess you have to chop him up again. Tell Chimera she has the key. Look out for the
Could that be the key to using the dragon horn?
The same notion occurred to me, Queen Chimera.
Wait, here comes Tarn and the others. I am happy to see you and the others, Five Claw, and I'm eager to hear what happened. Wait. That does not bode well. The betrayer of Kunzari was a great hero who became a terrible villain. It took all the remaining champions and the moon priests of Anequina to stop him. But how does the betrayer's return help the dragon? A special place? That does not give us a lot of information to go on, Five Claw. Did Cadwell tell you anything else before he disappeared? The ancient legends. I have been studying them. They mention Jode's core, a vault of some kind. Kunzari tricked the demons into storing their power there, though now we know that the demons were dragons. A metaphor, yes? As for a key... Everyone, meet in the royal study. I have something to show you. Cadwell spoke of Anequina, one of Kunzari's champions. He mentioned a key. I think he meant my pendant.
Zamalak remembers. Your mother wore it before you. Does it have more than sentimental significance?
It hides me from magical detection. Mother would take my pendant in her hand and whisper, "When Kunzari smiled, Anequina asked the moons to move for him."
The Shadow Dance Temple ruins. Is that where the betrayer has gone?
I discovered as a young girl that the pendant and this ancient map interact in interesting ways. I learned the stories of Kunzari from my mother. Did I tell you she was a moon singer before she married my father? She said the pendant once belonged to Anequina. I am related to Anequina. Direct descendant, according to the moon priests. An ancient ruin. The place was once the Shadow Dance Temple, but now it is nothing but tumbled stones. Still, Cadwell indicated the pendant was the key to finding the betrayer. What else do we have to go on? Yes, from Kunzari's story. He tricked the demons into giving him their power. Then Anequina moved the moon so he could store the power in Jode's core for safekeeping. Of course, now we know the demons of the story were actually the dragons. In their weakened state, Kunzari was able to trick the dragons and trap them in the halls of Colossus. But one of his companions betrayed him, stabbed him in the back and went... To the place of the Dark Dance to steal the demon power. I think you are right, Five Claw. The betrayer must want to finish what he started in the ancient time. But the dragons also want that power. Are they working together? Either way, we need to get to the temple. As we saw on the map, the ruins lie in the foothills east of the Scar, between Orcrest and the town of Hakoshe. We will meet you there.
We need to send your Cygnus irregulars to the Moongate, Prefect Kalo.
Agreed. We've been practicing in anticipation of joining forces for more than a year.
A year? Oh, a year ago we were still enemies.
Perhaps. But I always knew we'd wind up fighting the Iraq.
So, I recently traveled past Two Moons Temple. I hate to say it. But I couldn't see any. There were...
A direct approach. Yes, I suppose that's... if potent circuit...
Chimera's waiting for you inside. If the dragon's circling overhead...
If there is more to this ancient temple,
Yes, I'm sure you're...
this is the right place. I can sense it. But nothing in this chamber looks like it can make the moons move, or open a path to Joan or Jode. What are we missing? And Riddlethar knows I have tried everything I can think of. I held it out, I presented it forcefully. I even shook it vigorously, but nothing happened. I do not know what... My memories and the Kunzari stories, everything jumbles together. Too much research has crowded my mind. Wait, maybe... I remember one thing Mother used to say. Maybe if I repeat her words while I hold the pendant. When a Nequina's blood calls, the shadow dance begins.
By the moons, you opened the path.
You go ahead. Zamorak and I will deal with the dragon outside. Somehow.
Moons watch over you. Come, Fiveclaw. Let us see where this leads. Why was this hidden for so long? This place has guardians, it seems, but they could not stop the betrayer. The betrayer sent. He came this way. That relic. See what you can do. The spirits awakened. The temple recognized me. I am becoming attuned.
doing this?
I want what Kunzari hid away, and I need to move the moons to reach it. If a few cats must die along the way, what of it?
You're insane!
You talk to your new god like that? Manners!
The temple. It shows us how the betrayer became attuned. Another temple relic. Activated by Claw. I understand. Moving the moons causes an eclipse. That opens the way to Jode's core.
It's almost a shame how Enequida's faithful keep throwing themselves at my blade. Almost.
Now, by now, we need to reach the temple sanctuary. Let us talk before we confront the betrayer. The ancient memories become clearer in my mind with every passing moment. We follow the same path as the heroes of legend. Kunzari, Anequina, the betrayer, they all walked these steps to reach Jode's core. I see the truth of the myths and legends. Kunzari tricked Calcrontid into storing the might of the dragons in Jode's core. Then, the heroes of the Krajun lured them into the halls of Colossus and sealed the doors. Yes, he murdered Kunzari and then came to this temple to gain the power to move the moons and open the way to Jode's core. You see, the path only appears at the moon gate of Anequina when the moons are aligned, as in an eclipse. True, but many died before they lopped off his head. The betrayer was the greatest warrior of his day. If it comes to a battle, it will not be an easy one. There is an apparatus in the sanctuary, linked to the larger moon gate. That is what we seek. We are about to enter the place where the betrayer faced his greatest failure, where he died at the hands of the remaining heroes and moon priests. We must make sure history repeats itself. The shade of Anequina darkens with rage whenever I think about him. Even before his betrayal, she detested the man. He was vain, proud, a great sword fighter, but full of ego and hubris. Perhaps that is his weakness, his pride.
I'm going to share the power with the dragons. Magnanimous, don't you think? Do my portals confuse you? Good! Surely, lovely keepsakes, don't. Sure, these lovely keepsakes don't.
The betrayer did something to the apparatus. No. The betrayer has set the moons in motion, and they will not answer to my song. There is nothing to stop the dragons from using the moon. Not yet. This apparatus moves the moons, but the moon gate of Anequina creates the portal to Jode's core. Luckily, I sent forces there to defend it from the dragons. We will join them. Anequina's memories show me how she once used the dragon horn. The combat dragon horn you gave me. It needs to be energized. Have its power restored. Activate. Zari, Anequina, Cadwell, John and John. All of it. Into the dragon horn.
Dip in cold hard is refreshing, pleasant, and I'm fit as a fig tree. Now, where's the evil me? Where is the fiend? Let me at him. I returned as soon as I could to help you give the betrayer a good... I feel tip-top, I must say. I thought it was the cozy confines of my beloved Cold Harbor. But I suppose it has more to do with the destruction of my other half. Well, good show. The world is saved. That doesn't sound good. Let me think. If I concentrate, I can recall what was going through my despicable other self's mind. He wanted to make sure no one could stop the path from opening. He promised the dragons. I'm afraid not, at least not from here. He did something to the apparatus. It can't be used again. Chimera might be able to separate the moons, but she'd need to do it at the moon gate. She looks a little peaked, though, doesn't she?
I am all right. Cadwell, can we use your portal to return to Raymond?
Of course, Chimera. It's ready.
The eclipse approaches, and with it the opening of the moon gate of Anequina. We have a short amount of time before the way to Jode's core appears. At least I am attuned, and I was able to charge the dragon. Gareshri has already gone to the moon gate of Anequina to take charge of the forces there. We will join him shortly. Thank you for helping with my attunement, Five Claw. With you and my ancestors beside me, we will find a way to stop the betrayer, but not before he set the moons in motion. Soon they will align. When the eclipse occurs, the moon gate of Anequina will open and grant access to Jode's core, which is exactly what the dragons desire. Some, but not a lot. Luckily, we anticipated the connection to the moon gate and sent Gareshri ahead with whatever forces we could spare, which was not as much as I would like. I just wish we had something. The combat Dragonhorn is charged, but we still do not know its full capabilities. We must not waste its energy, so we will save it until absolutely necessary. We should make our way to the Moon Gate now. Tell our companions left the palace to wander Rimmon and consider what is to come. Find Abner Tarn, Zamarak, and Prefect Kalo. Cadwell too, if he is still around. I would like them to join us at the Moon Gate, but will understand if they decide not to. The ancient structure rises out of the jungle far to the southwest. To think, a place known primarily as a pilgrimage stop and historical curiosity may turn out to be the site of Elsweyr's most crucial battle yet. The Moon Gates are among the oldest ruins in Elsweyr. Of the few sites we know of, the Anequina ruin is the most well-preserved. Moon priests consider it sacred. The Riddle Thar ties it to the lattice. The rest of us, we see a pile of old rocks. I can only tell you what I experienced. I became one with the temple, with all its memories and past experiences. I connected with my bloodline, with the first Anequina herself. I was attuned. I underwent the process of attunement, the same as Anequina and the moon priests of the temple, the same as Cadwell. I know how to make the moons move, provided we find a working lunar lattice up. Some of the stories about Anequina speak of her teleporting from place to place. I see something about portals, but it does not make much sense. Perhaps when I have had 1,000 years to practice, I will be as competent as Cadwell. Yes. The ancient structure rises out of the jungle far to the southwest. To think, a place known primarily as a pilgrimage stop and historical curiosity may turn out to be the site of Elsweyr's most crucial battle yet.
Quiet moments to meditate have been rare since Zamorak returned to Elsweyr. This one needed some time alone, especially after helping Tharn with the dragon at the Shadow Dance ruins. But you look like one who has important news. Zamorak suspected that would be our next destination. This one noticed that the moons have shifted in the sky, moving in a way that breaks their usual pattern. The betrayer's doing, yes? At least you and Queen Kamira returned from the ruin. Then we still have a chance. Zamorak has pledged his honor to Queen Kamira. He will not break that vow. This one has a purpose again, and will see it through no matter the cost. Zamorak will meet you at the Moon Gate. Queen Kamira, attuned to the lunar lattice. Zamorak never expected to see such a miracle in his lifetime. This one prays that it will be enough when we stand against the dragons. About what you would expect. Tharn used flashy spells to confuse the dragon until it finally gave up and flew away. Then, we encountered a squad of Euraxians led by a necromancer. Those Zamorak dispatched. It was the least this one could do.
Hello, to partake in a before-the-battle cleansing, I find it prudent to make myself pristine prior to the start of a slaughter. In my experience, the subsequent blood and gore adheres much better to a well-laundered body. The Moongate. I hope to wash away the memories of the betrayer, but some stenches can't be removed with soap and water. I'm sorry I made the moons move, my friend. But before I became the gallantly gaunt, soul-shriven form you see today, I was the betrayer. I originally did all the terrible deeds that led us to this place. I'm rather ashamed. Dash it all. Yes, of course, that was my plan all along. Make up for my past atrocities by helping the nice cat people defeat the evil dragons, just like the hero I was before I became the betrayer. Tally-ho, then. I'll head to the Moongate now and meet you. As nice as these facilities are, I miss the boiling plasm pools of Cold Harbor. Hot enough to melt the skin right off your bones. What an invigorating sensation. And your point is?
Wine used to rejuvenate me after periods of intense exertion and spellcasting. Now I can barely taste the stuff. A good thing too. Khajiiti wine is cloyingly sweet, like drinking candied plums boiled in moon sugar. I presume you have news? The Moongate. A noble but futile proposition, I fear. The Khajiit should pack up and flee while they still can. Let the Alliance armies deal with this. Show them some fights are more important than deciding whose posterior best fits the Ruby Throne. No. Just pondering other options. Too much of what we're facing was the inadvertent result of my actions or the actions of my family. Dragons, Euraxians, necromancers. The responsibility falls to me, and balance must be restored. Would you stand a chance otherwise? Without my arcane and strategic insights, anything you try is destined to fail. I won't have that on my conscience. Now, allow me to finish this sickeningly sweet inebriant, one last indulgence before the end. By the way, I believe I understand the purpose of the dragon horn. After much consideration, the use and function of the ancient instrument has become clear. The Dragon Guard were clever, I'll say that for them. Theoretical knowledge isn't the same as practical experience, but I believe I understand the fundamentals of its operation. The Dragon Guard prepared a horn taken from a massive dragon and engraved it with arcane runes, giving it astonishing power. Oh yes, I'm fairly certain of that. And I found historical references indicating the Dragon Guard gifted such relics to key locations, for their protection, you see. The one you located was originally in Rimmen before it was moved to the sanctuary. We have neither the time nor resources to move the large relic, but the small horn you brought back, it's called a combat horn, by the way, was designed to be carried into battle. Once charged with energy, its sound weakens dragons. One problem solved then. The next is sheer age. This ancient combat horn is exceedingly fragile. I'm not sure how many times we can sound the horn before it disintegrates into dust. For that reason, I suggest we save it until we absolutely need it.
Quiet moments between battles. I like to spend the time catching up in my reading. History, military strategy, recipe books. My secret pleasure is a good mystery, though. And the new Investigator Veil is a real page-turner. I've been waiting for the order to move out. I sent most of the Cygnus Irregulars on ahead with Gareshri, but a small contingent remained here in case our earlier guess was wrong. I assume events in the ruins confirmed our theory? Understood. We need to defend the Moongate and stop the dragons from using it when it opens. Keep them from reaching Jode's core. Well, at least now we have a mission. I just hope the Khajiit can get over their aversion to working with my troops. Queen Euraxia's tyranny made the Khajiit wary. I don't blame them for that. I just want to show them that not all Imperials are tyrants, that they can trust at least a few of us. It will come, as long as we don't turn on each other first.
Farmhands needed at Mother's farm!
Roxando's mother is very nice. Roxando works so hard.
Everyone has arrived. Report to Prefect Kalo 5 Claw, while I confer with the Queen.
An eclipse is an eerie sight, but where are the dragons? The moons come together and the sky grows dark. Ominous, isn't it? And strangely beautiful. Where are the dragons, though? And the remaining Euraxians? I assumed they would have started their push for the Moongate by now. As ready as we can be. The Kashidi militia and the Cygnus Irregulars have taken defensive positions along the path up to the Moongate. And whatever siege weapons we could get our hands on are set to repel the dragons. Not a chance. We only hope to slow them enough to give Tharn and Chimera the time they need to stop the Moongate from opening. Or find a way to shut it if all else fails. If the dragons don't reach Jode's core, we win. Wait. What's that noise? Dragon, go join Queen Chimera. I'll take charge down here.
Zamorak will go.
Get those fires out and ready the ballistic. Move it, soldiers!
Time for reckless audacity and daring do.
Euraxians. The wall has been breached. More Euraxians. Prepare yourself! More soldiers. Take them down. path is clear. We need to reach Queen Kamira. Gareshri still breathes, but his injuries are serious. He needs a healer. In the meantime, with Gareshri injured, someone else must take command of this position. Make sure the Euraxians and the dragons encounter enough resistance to slow them down. That task now falls to Zamarak. Yes, my friend. This is Zamarak's chance to finally atone for his past mistakes. Wait, what is this? The dragon horn. This one doesn't know why Gareshri was carrying this. But you must take it and reach the Moon Gate. Queen Kamira needs you. Go. Now, Five Claw.
Maybe I should have fought left instead of right. Let's try that again. I've got these hooligans on track. Let's get to Abner before the moon's completely alive. Oh! Won't hold.
Dragonborn Five Claw, do you have it? Use it, quick, quick! See how the moons align with the ancient gate. The lattice opens a path to Jode's core. But how did you get the dragon horn? Where's Gareshri? And why are the sounds of battle so close? Gareshri? Hurt? And the Euraxians behind our defenses? This is not good. Not good at all. Well, we still have the dragon horn. At least until the power runs out or the fragile relic falls apart. Ah, I just wish the moons would move for me. The power, yes, but not the knowledge and experience. I will continue to try to move the moons and close the gate, but you will need to keep the Euraxians from taking this position. I am counting on you, Five Claw. Dragonhorn!
Chimera, wait!
We stand on the sacred plane of Jode. The dragons went down into the processional. They seek to breach Jode's core. From the memories I absorbed at the Shadow Dance Temple, Anequina and the Moon Priests came here to honor the moons and set them on their way after their sacred joining. This is also where she helped Kunzari hide the dragon's power. Here, on the plane of Jode, the memories become clearer with every passing moment. Kunzari was able to use Calgronti's own greed against him. The dragon sought the power of Jode's core from the beginning, but Kunzari offered him even more. He offered a way to combine the natural power of Jode's core with the mystic might of his loyal dragons. Calgronti's greed was his undoing. Now, he finally has an opportunity to steal all the stored energy for himself.
Mulamnir, the vermin still pester us. Devour them.
As you say, my brother.
Mulamnir is better than
Jode's core is close. I can feel it.
Mulamnir, Calgronteed, and Jode's core. Are you ready for this, Chimera? Calgronteed is absorbing Jode's core. As long as the moons remain aligned, the power flowing through him is unimaginable.
Get me to that platform, Tarn. I can separate the moons from the Unkar. You must deal with Mulamnir Fiveclaw. I will divert whatever energy I can into the Dragonhorn, but use it very well.
Dare to face me, Morsu? Chimera. Have you been injured?
I am fine, just tired. But look, the moons are no longer aligned. Tell me about the dragons, the Euraxians. What is the state of our forces?
Our scouts tell us that most of the Euraxians and dragons fled when the moons parted. Our own troops have not returned, but the Main has sent an envoy.
An envoy from the Main? If you'll excuse me, I have other business to attend to.
We did it, Five Claw! We put the moons back in motion and defeated both Mulamnir and Calgrontid. I want to thank you for everything. Elsweyr is safer today because of you. Just being on the plane of Jode clarified the memories I inherited at the Shadow Dance Temple. I saw the ritual in my mind and performed the actions. Oh, too bad the Dragonhorn did not survive. At least it lasted long enough to banish Calgrontid. He did grow larger with every infusion of power he absorbed, but the horn dislodged him from Jode's core, which allowed me to finish the ritual and end the eclipse. After that, a concern for another day. I cannot be named queen without the Main's blessing. That, however, is my worry. For now, you should rest. We must honor our fallen and learn the fate of our troops at the Moongate. And after that, we will celebrate a new dawn for We have accomplished much, my friend. We overthrew the tyrant, Euraxia Tarn, defeated Zumog Foom and the Betrayer, even killed at least 2 dragons and made the moons move in the sky. If only I could shake this sense of impending doom. Nothing specific. Not really. I guess this sense of worry will stay with me until I know the fate of Gareshri, Zamarak, even Prefect Kalo. I would return to the Moongate, but other matters require my attention. Namely, the envoy of the Main. That is just it. I have no idea. Moons. My head pounds. The effort I exerted at Jode's core was not without a cost. Five Claw, could I convince you to determine the fate of my soldiers and our friends? I appreciate your assistance, my friend. Find out what happened to Gareshri and the others, then bring word back to me. Meanwhile, I will try to find a few moments to rest before I meet with the Main's envoy or worry about the other dragons. Far from it. But without Calgrontid and Mulamnir to lead them, they are solitary beasts without a grand plan. Colossal, dangerous beasts to be sure, but not the overwhelming force they were under their dragon leaders. There is little difference between myth and history for the Khajiit Five Claw. Whether Euraxia discovered the Kunzari stories and that led them to the Betrayer's head, or Zumog Foom reanimated the head and then learned the tales, who can say?
It's good to see you, Five Claw. We only just returned and I have yet to report to the Queen. Chimera is alright, isn't she? We saw the moons move and the eclipse end. But we haven't heard what happened after you entered the moon. After I was caught in that dragon blast, Zamorak tended to my wounds and took command of the soldiers defending the upper ridge. I'm sorry to say that I was in and out of consciousness for most of what happened next. I know that I am still alive and grateful to be back in Rimmen. It's a miracle, thank the moons, that the city is free once more. If you want to know what really occurred at the Moon Gate, you'll need to ask Zamorak and Prefect Kelo. There are those among the troops who need the healers more than I. But perhaps a few hours in the soothing springs will restore my strength. I'll need it too. I have much to do to help Chimera restore Enequina to its form.
Zamorak is happy to see you, friend. After the dragons entered the Moon Gate and you followed, this one worried that all was lost. But then, the moons parted, and suddenly everything seemed all right. Just what you would expect. We held our ground against the swarming Euraxians and their necromancers, repelled the dragons as best we could. This one let the desert wind flow through his limbs and claws, while our soldiers rallied to his side. Between the Khajiiti militia and the Cygnus irregulars, we held them off. When the moons separated, the Euraxians broke off their attack and scattered to the four winds. The remainder will be a nuisance, but they pose no threat to the kingdom. Zamorak doesn't know for certain. We faced mostly the Euraxians on the upper ridge. Prefect Kelo commanded the ballisti, so he could tell you more. This one does know that when the moons began to separate, the dragons roared in rage and flew away. Zamorak hopes to serve as Queen Chimera's claw and defend the throne as he was trained to do. If she will not have me, well, Gareshri has many plans for improving life in Elsweyr. This one would be happy to help.
Oh, it's you. Good to see you're still among the living. I suppose you had a hand in getting the moons to finally pull apart? Hang on, I need to finish my report. I find that it's best to write it all down while it's still fresh in my mind. It's all in my report. Our troops held their ground and fought bravely. We lost many good soldiers, Khajiiti and Imperial, but we did our duty. We slaughtered Euraxians by the score and kept the dragons at bay until the moons broke apart. It was crucial to our survival. When the moons separated, the dragons broke ranks. They seemed to lose their drive, their purpose. They stopped attacking and flew off. Not a moment too soon. We had exhausted both our strength and our ammunition. The ones that survived Zamorak's charge lost what remained of their courage when the dragons abandoned the field of battle. They scattered like sand roaches and ran in all directions. I doubt they'll give the militia too much trouble going forward. We still have a lot to do to heal the scars left by Euraxia and her mercenaries. I'll offer our services to Queen Chimera and Lord Gareshri. Let them use us where we'll do the most good, if that's what they need. But the Cygnus Irregulars are mostly military engineers, scouts, and trainers. We have a lot more to offer a kingdom that needs to be rebuilt than just blades and shields. That was our original mission, to help Elsweyr.
Why will Dragon be near the Moon Gate?
Outsider, this one must speak with you. This one never expected to set foot in the capital of Enequina again. She hoped the militia would succeed, but she didn't believe they stood a chance against the usurper queen. Kashia understands you played a significant role in these events, yes? Such wonders you have accomplished, and to have touched the face of blessed Jode. This one is in awe. Despite all that, the Main has sent me to determine what happens next. Where is Lord Gareshri, the Speaker of the Main? The healers? This one hopes the Speaker wasn't gravely injured. As for your question, we must settle the matter of Enequina's succession. Kasia must determine if Kamira is the legitimate heir to the throne, and if so, recognize her claim. Certainly, but anyone can make such a claim. To be accepted by the Khajiit, she must be recognized by the Main. With Gareshri indisposed, will you stand with Kamira and vouch for her heritage? If so, please tell her I am ready before you return to Kamira's side. This one requests an additional favor. The Main gave Kasia a sealed letter for Abner Tharn, but he refuses to see me. I understand that you and he share a special bond. Perhaps you could deliver. The specifics concern the Tharn alone, but this one believes it deals with the artificial eclipse and its impact on Khajiit society. The moons hold great sway over the Khajiit born under them. What does this mean for those born during this eclipse? No matter what caused the eclipse, Joan and Jode joined as one. When this occurs naturally, one born then may become the next Main. But during a false eclipse, succession becomes a concern. The Main hopes Tharn can explain the arcane implications. The Main cannot be everywhere at once. That is what the Speaker and the envoys are for. For now, the Main's duties do not include Enequina. But know that the Main's heart is everywhere in Elsweyr. Now, please deliver the letter to Abner Tharn.
Yeah!
You simply must stay for the ceremony. It's not every day we get to see a lovely cat receive a crown.
Nonsense. And don't call me Abner. Besides, I think I've overstayed my welcome as far as Kamira is concerned. You and Cadwell, the two of you just can't leave well enough alone. No one was supposed to notice as I slipped out of Rimmen. Of course, very little has gone according to plan since the Wrathstone tablets set me on this path. I am neither sentimental nor enamoured of pomp and circumstance. My time in Elsweyr has shown me that I have limits. I am not the battle mage I was in my younger days. Besides, I hate parties, small talk, speeches, canapes, totally unbearable. I watched firsthand as a remarkable young woman became a leader. She's already a queen. Everything else is simply ceremony. I've lingered here long enough. You were an able enough traveling companion. I may call on you again sometime. An intriguing question. Are Khajiit born under a forced eclipse next in line for the Main? But this other bit confirms my suspicions. I must travel to Palatine at once. I'm sure we'll see each other again. Until then, we accomplished much, but I fear we haven't seen the last of Calgrontide. I must investigate reports coming from the south. You, however, have a queen to crown. Take Cadwell with you and make sure he behaves. And tell Kamira she did admirably. We saw no body, and there's no reason to suppose Calgrontide couldn't escape from Jode just as we did. He absorbed a remarkable amount of energy while the moons were aligned, after all. I'll send for you if and when I confirm my suspicion.
I assure you, Kasia, my wounds are healing quite nicely.
Nevertheless, this one has asked the Outlander to stand beside Kamira, should I decide to give the name.
Gareshri told me you found them. He filled me in on what happened during the battle at the Moongate. Dragons and necromancers, I understand. But politics and coronations, they twist my tail, and their regalia, it pinches. Moons, I miss my leathers. I am having many thoughts, but I know what I must do. like Anequina and my other ancestors before me, I must stand tall and accept my responsibilities with humility and grace. Provided the Main's envoy confirms, the woman is inscrutable. I think she just wants to see me suffer until she acquiesces and places the crown on my head. Before the full weight of the kingdom falls upon my shoulders, I want to tell you something. I want you to know I appreciate everything you have done for Elsweyr. For me. I do not believe we would have survived without your assistance. Now, I understand the envoy asked you to stand beside...
The healers were able to do wonders, my friend. I almost feel like my old self again. I will secure Camira's claim. You just stand beside her and support her. She values your presence, as do I. But where is Camira? I expected you to bring her in.
Who will confirm that Camira is the daughter of King Hemekar and the rightful heir to the throne of Anequina?
I will. As her guardian all these years, and as the Speaker of the Main, Camira is the rightful heir. Come forth, daughter of Hemekar and Numara. Come forth, child of Anequina.
Camira, do you accept the duties of the throne? Will you lead this kingdom and protect its people?
I do, and I will.
Know then that the Main accepts and recognizes your claim. All hail Camira, Queen of Anequina!
I promise to serve our people, and I offer thanks to all who helped achieve our recent victories. Finally, there is one I wish to honor. One whose assistance in these matters was unprecedented and invaluable. Five Claw, my comrade and friend, please, approach the throne. Courageous Five Claw, I will make sure your deeds are sung by my people. They will be told from one generation to the next. As Kunzari passed into legend, so too will you. Then say nothing, my friend. Just know that you helped deliver my homeland from tyranny. You helped me avenge my parents. You saved us from dragons and undead. We will never forget that. I will never forget that. You appeared when Elsweyr needed you most. In our most desperate time of troubles, you helped restore our nation. You will always have a place here, my friend. And I want you to accept the greatest award I can offer. I name you Champion of Anequina. There are still dragons to kill and Euraxians to deal with, but now it is time to celebrate. Take a few moments, talk to our friends, then enjoy yourself, champion. You earned it. Just what you would expect. I listen to problems and I try to find solutions. I suppose I must coordinate with our allies in the Dominion at some point, and there are still stray dragons and Euraxian deserters to deal with. So, the usual things. It is time for different adventures, Five Claw. I must lead my people and erase the memories of the usurper queen. May her name be blotted from the histories. Of course, I may find time to slip away and explore a ruin or two. Every now and again. And all hail Five Claw, whom I name Champion of Anequina!
Delivering messages is thirsty work, and the grog here is damn expensive. Be a good. Didn't I say we'd find
We've
you?
been tracking you for hours. Luckily, Casca never forgets a scent. Saisahan needs you back at the Dragon Guard Sanctum. Something about a letter and a new threat to Palatine. Saisahan received a letter from the High Chancellor, the great Imperial battle mage Abner Tharn. According to Sai, the letter indicates you all need to meet as soon as... All Sai would say was that Abner Tharn mentioned a threat to southern Elsweyr. I could tell the letter troubled him, which makes me downright terrified. Will you go and meet with them? I hated leaving Saisahan alone with Nafalar, especially in the mood he was in. Get to the Dragon Guard Sanctum as soon as you can. Oh, and it's good to see you again. Zaji and Casca feel the same, even if they won't admit it. Not a bad mood, not exactly. It just seemed to me that whatever was in that letter from Abner Tharn made him uneasy. Nafalar was also acting strangely. I'm worried that something terrible is about to happen. Honestly, after everything we've already witnessed, it could be anything. All I know is that whatever form this new threat takes, it has both Saisahan and Abner Tharn worried. Nafalar paced around like an anxious Senshrod awaiting the approach of a summer storm. I think he senses the coming of whatever threat Abner Tharn uncovered. You'll see for yourself when you return to the Dragon Guard Sanctum. Honestly, after everything we've already witnessed, it could be anything. All I know is that whatever form this new threat takes, it has both Saisahan and Abner. Rebuilding an order takes time. The Sanctum is coming along, but Sai wants to get more chapters established as soon as possible. The dragons remain a threat, one too large for a single group to deal with.
That scent on the air. The mask-bearer approaches.
Good. Now we're just waiting for him. Just in time, my friend. When my old companion arrives, I'd prefer to have someone I trust at my side. Abner Tharn. According to his letter, the two of you worked together after the Prophet incident. He even praised you. I know. It surprised me, too. The old snake also said he's bringing a friend, that we have important business to discuss. I know as much as you do. He just mentioned a threat to southern Elsweyr. Between Tharn's cryptic letter and Nathalar's strange mood, I'm feeling uneasy myself. Talk to the dragon. Find out what troubles him while I wait for Tharn. I appreciate you dealing with Nathalar. The dragon senses my unease over Tharn's letter, which only makes his own anxiety more pronounced. Meanwhile, I need to keep myself from thrashing the old battle mage the moment I see him. Abner Tharn is conceited, opinionated, condescending, and a pain in my arse. And those are his good qualities. All that said, I have the utmost respect for the battle mage. When danger appears, we could do worse than to have Abner on our side. He paces, he grumbles, he refuses to speak except in riddles, and he's only gotten worse since Tharn's letter arrived and my own mood soured. We both know something terrible gathers strength in the wilderness. We just don't know what it is. His letter indicated a threat to southern Elsweyr, but that was the extent of his revelations. I suppose he wants to tell us in person. Prudent, if frustrating. After all, one should never commit certain details to paper. I'm beginning to sense that. I told him about Nathalar and the Dragon Guard. While he still punctuates every sentence with an insult, he seems genuinely concerned. That's different from the man we once adventured with.
The bearded one speaks as though I am not perched within striking distance and can hear every syllable he utters. I might find his hubris amusing in a different light, but the light that remains fades as darkness comes. A riddle to those hindered by limited perspectives. A profound truth to one such as I. Something ancient and powerful assaults my senses, but the path ahead is unclear. I sense a darkness. Perhaps an absence of light. It sets my scales on edge. My feeling is my own. It grew from a tickle behind my broken horn when the fool of a battle mage opened the halls of Colossus. Now it swirls like a black storm around me. Quite unpleasant. Perhaps the new arrivals can shed clarity on what is to come.
Portal? Here? See what you can make of it.
Tarn, how do you stand it? My head pounds like an orc drum.
You get used to it. And that was your best one yet.
Abner Tharn. You arrogant, vexatious son of a bleary-eyed...
Save your posturing, Sai. I missed you too, but we have a bigger problem to deal with.
Five Claw. My head spins from the effort that took. Cadwell made it look so easy. By the moons, though, my heart sings at the sight of you, my friend. I did. Cadwell acquired power over portals after attuning at the Shadow Dance Temple. Tarn suggested I might have the same ability, and he has been helping me. Just between us, he is not the most patient teacher. Lord Gareshri has my kingdom well in hand. We continue to clean up the mess left by the usurper queen, and there are still stray dragons to deal with. But Tarn convinced me that I was needed here. Working with a dragon, what an odd sensation. So Tarn has told me. He has been exchanging letters with Sai Sahan for some time. Do not expect me to turn my back on the creature, but I will respect this alliance. Mons, this must be what a mouse feels like in the presence of a purring Alfiq. I traveled to southern Elsweyr not just to finish this business with the dragons. The Khajiit of Palatine have been on their own for too long. The time has come to welcome them back into the Confederacy. The Elsweyr Confederacy, an alliance between Anequina and Palatine. The various political upheavals and the Nahatan flu have left the Confederacy in shambles. I plan to rectify that. Gareshri insisted I bring an armed escort. He worries so. Marching down from Rimmon, I suppose. Tarn was in a hurry, so he had me practice my portal making. Zamarak and the others will catch up to us, even... Five Claw, you just want to hear tales of your exploits. Very well. You and Abner Tarn arrived in northern Elsweyr to help deal with the dragon threat that Tarn unintentionally released upon us. Along the way, we discovered a terrible truth. That Euraxia, the usurper queen, Tarn's half-sister, orchestrated the release of the dragons. We ended her reign, only to learn that the dragons had plans of their own. Calgrontid, leader of the dragons, sought the power hidden in Jode's core. We killed the dragon Mulamnir and flung Calgrontid into the void, but not before he absorbed the core's power. Then I took back my family's throne and accepted the crown of Anequina. As for Calgrontid, you should talk to Tarn.
I see that my instructions were followed to the letter. The champion of Aquina, Saisahan, and the dragon Nafalar together in the same place, and I have brought Chimera. We have much to discuss. It concerns Calgrontid. Calgrontid absorbed a good deal of the core's power before we stopped him. I hoped he was lost in the void after we dislodged him, but like us, he made his way back to Tamriel. I've been hunting for him ever since. Not just that. I pieced together his ultimate plan. Calgrontid boasted he would become the equal of Akatosh, and your dealings with Ludvolon and the cult of the New Moon suggest they were preparing for an ascension. Isn't it obvious? Calgrontid plans to become a god. There's an island off the coast, Dragonhold. In the Kunzari legends, it was the dragon's seat of power. I can't open a portal to it, I can't even scry it. It's protected by potent magic. You face the cult of the New Moon? The cultists revere Calgrontid. They must have a method for getting to and from the island. I assume their base at the New Moon Fortress holds the answers we seek.
Strange green stone. Does that sound like what you're looking for, Tharn?
Indeed. Since I read about it in your reports, I've wanted to examine it. Chimera, can you...
No more portals, Tarn. Not right now. I have duties other than conveying you around, you know.
Oh, very well. Sai, let's talk. We'll meet our friend at the fortress.
Don't you know that interruptions at nap time cause mange of the fur? You mean other than the cultists that were trying their damnedest to disembowel us? Wait a moment. You're going back there. What in the Two Moons could possibly warrant a return visit to that awful place? Huh. Now that you mention it, I did hear a few of those nutters mentioning sending the green stone to an island. And they were certainly sacrificing something on that altar in the amphitheater. I am not a mage. I wouldn't know a portal from a hole in the ground, but that's where they were gathering the green, Aeon stone, I think they called it. If they have a way to move the stone, it must be in the amphitheater. That's where I would look. May the moons protect you on your mission. If you need a helping claw, come find me after my nap. I heard Aelia say something about meeting with the Queen of Enequina, which I take to be some sort of euphemism. As for the captain, he went to collect his special order, a case of plum brandy, the good stuff. Already storing it away, I'd wager.